Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 here with Patriot 6 live here tonight. Patriot 6 will start sending out everything right now. People will start coming on. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the music and I'm going to say the pledge and then we'll come back and we'll get into the show. There is some good news, I think, and there is some that we'll see. But we'll all do this together as a family. I'll be right back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'm ready to stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. God bless this country. And I'm proud to be an American. At least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Yes, I'm proud to be an American, and God bless the USA. And good evening, Janet and Jeffrey and
God
Bill.
is saying to you, for the person that needs.
Who else? We got Kevin and Lynn. Ian. I said you, didn't I, Bill? Jeffrey. Stephanie Stroud, good to see you here, Stephanie. Papa G. Looks like Myrna's on. I don't see her, but someone said Myrna. Ron's on. Before I go into the show, guys, when I sit down, when I start the show, I always say, God bless the USA. I'm proud to be an American. And yes, I would stand up next to them and fight till the very end for those who gave our lives so we could be free. And it's funny because the other day, I got this message. I got this message, and in this message, it said, You're still doing that damn show. And I messaged him back. I didn't know who it was. I said, well, we don't consider it as a family, that kind of show, but I'm still doing the show. You should have been a long time ago, gone a long time ago. You're mentally ill. Whoa. And I said, well, if that's your opinion, you're entitled to your opinion. And at this point, I'm not aggravated because at this point I knew who it was. And he goes, or the person goes, you say you're proud to be an American, but yet you never served in the military. So you should have no right to play that song and no right to do anything. And I'm thinking, because I didn't go to the military, I should have no right. And I'll admit, when it was my turn that I could have went to the military, they had just abolished the draft. You can ask Ron. He don't hide it. If you looked at Ron and said, Ron, would you enlisted in the military? That wasn't what he wanted. My brother Russ loved the military. The 2 years he served, one of them in Vietnam. He loved it. But if you'd asked him, do you want to enlist? No, because we were family people. But to come back 54 years later and tell me I was too chicken to go to the military.
Well, he's got a guy.
And if the guy who is, I think he is, he's nothing but a big puss anyway. And yes, if you're watching the show, I called you a big puss. Because anybody that will hide behind an email and not man enough to come and tell me what you said, you're not a man at all.
Hide behind his wife's skirts.
Yes, as Ron said, you hide behind your wife's skirt. But anyway, that's different. I just wanted to share that story with you. How sick people are out there. How jealous people are. We're not even a big group. I can't imagine what he feels about these other groups. The ones that's got hundreds of thousands and millions, and someone just give me a heart. Thank you.
Everyone he got into.
I think that's the first heart I've ever seen get
into.
What?
They kicked him out.
Yeah, and when he got into a big group, they kicked him out. But anyway, let's move on with the show. We may have a good show tonight. We may have a bad show, but I got a friend on his show tonight named Papa G. And he looked at me and he said, Ralph, even if you have a bad show, the way you laugh, the way you smile, the way you talk, everybody loves you. And that's all I've ever asked.
Plus, the Sox beat the Cubs again today.
Plus, as Ron's saying, in baseball, we're White Sox fans, a.k.a. But they beat the Cubs. It's only spring training. And the Cubs may win. Boy, I almost knocked the whole shelf off. The Cubs may win a lot of games in the regular season, but you know what? I don't care if it's preseason, exhibition, or what. Whenever the White Sox beat the Cubs, it's a perfect day for me because, see, guys, I'm a baseball fan. Baseball growing up was my first love. I'm telling you, I'd have played baseball 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if they'd let me. And my favorite team is the Chicago White Sox. And it's a great day for me when the White Sox win, and I don't care who it is. My second favorite team that day is whoever beats the Cubs. What do you think about that, Betty? And I know what Ron thinks. Janet, do you like sports? And I mean, I know there's a lot of people here that they're not into sports, and I'm not gonna keep going on it, but it's just they're replaying a game. They're replaying this exhibition game, and Ron's got it on as I'm doing a video. And I looked at him and says, watching the White Sox, they beat the Cubs, huh? And we both agreed, is there a better way to watch a game than they beat the Cubs? Why I don't like the Cubs, I have no idea. Growing up for a long time, TV announcers, they had the same announcers. But it was everybody loved the Cubs because they had that little bitty bear. And then I started noticing.
Yeah, that little bitty stadium.
They had that little league stadium, and then, minor league, little league, whatever. They had to actually move the vines back a little bit because they're at one time the park didn't reap regulation size. But I'm not going to get into that. It's all water under the bridge. Papa G loves his New York Yankees. That used to be my second less favorite team. But now I've seen him beat the Cubs, Papa G, so I kind of do that. You're watching the WBC. Oh, man. I don't even want to talk about the WBC. Papa G, our first-string catcher, got hurt yesterday in there. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks of the year. Well, 3 of the weeks will be gone. He'll miss about 1 to 3 weeks. Tremendous young kid, came up as a rookie last year, and I'm excited about this year's team. But let's go on to what we really want to talk about. Last night I was on the show with Mary Ann. She was giving me play-by-play, and it was Sue in a big call last night. She had a little bit of information, 5 minutes and a few seconds. But boy, when she talks about her products, I'm telling you, she can tell you everything about it. But, the show got over last night at just a little bit after 9 our time, a little bit after 10 Mary Ann's time. But the reason is because, see, Sue will do her show. She'll do her part. She'll sell her programs, and she'll do everything. And then when she's done, Bruce has to talk about it. It's like we're all too stupid to understand what Sue says. So Bruce will reminisce and tell us. And then Babbling Bob comes on, and Bob promotes his products. Oh, my God, they're the greatest products in the world. They'll keep you healthy. They'll keep you strong, and they'll do this and they'll do that. And I think in the last 3 months, Bob's missed 3 or 4 shows because he's been sick. I mean, how do you give a testimonial? How do you do things when you're promoting stuff and you still get sick? Well, you won't get this if you do this, but it doesn't matter. There was a couple good points in her show last night, and I'll talk about them. But before I go into the kids segment, I want to tell everybody right now, I truthfully 100% believe that all the wars are over. I know they say Iran's over, but nobody wants to announce it. And I'm going to talk about the hat a little bit, or I might even call him JB Sleepyhead tonight, because that's what he's kind of reminded me of a little bit. I know people's been talking about Charlie Kirk's wife meeting with somebody. And when I seen that posted, Charlie Kirk's wife met with that Epi guy. Now, wait a minute. How in the world did she meet with that Epi guy when he was put to death? Did she die? And they met in, well, if they died, where they have to meet, because she might be sweet enough to get upstairs, but he sure the heck isn't going to be. So I just wonder things like that. And when I read it, I'm at odd, Why can't they just come out and tell us who's good and who's bad? I don't know. But we're going to talk about some things, and we're going to have some fun, and you guys are going to chat over here, and not much chatting right now.
Everybody's listening close.
Everybody's listening to, you're paying attention to me, Ron says. What do you think about Larry? Are you paying attention to me? Larry says he heard the leader of Iran is running to Canada. I thought they took him out. Didn't they, Ron?
I don't know. On GNT Tony today, he said that somebody's still living.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't really follow that, because the reason I don't follow the Iran escapade is this is a movie and it's over.
He can run. He can't hide.
Yeah. As Ron says, and so does the hat, he can run, but he can't hide well enough to keep us from finding him. I mean, can you imagine what they did so far, guys? Can you imagine? How do you find these tunnels? How do you save these kids? How do they know where to look? Everybody's saying, you know what, since we're on Iran, I'm gonna talk about it before I go to the kids for a minute. And I'm going to talk about our famous president, the one who's running the country now. And when he did his State of the Union address the other night, like I said, he sounded to me like sleepy, JB. The only thing is he was kind of aware he didn't have to have the teleprompter. He did a good presentation. But here's what this man stands up there in front of the says. He says, we got 800 million barrels of oil. We got enough oil for the next 50 years, but we have even more than that because I drilled, baby, drilled. The average price of gasoline across the United States of America is $1.89. There might be a few people on here that have seen $1.89, but not in Illinois, not in Indiana, not in Missouri.
Nobody's seen it.
Nobody has seen it. There's, if you have, you was a delusional. But $1.89, and he said that without even blinking an eye. And I thought to myself when he said that, if he was Pinocchio, his nose would have got about that much bigger. Then he said the war in the Ukraine and the war in Russia, he'll end it soon. When he was running for election, he said he'd end it a month afterwards. But you know what? They weren't ready for the movie to end. But the great part is I got an update, guys. Julia and Masha, the two girls in the Ukraine, they're going to walk from their house to an orphanage tomorrow. They're going to take some colors, maybe some clothes that the kids could use, some books and things like that they have. They don't have a lot of money, so they can't take a lot. They're going to take that to the orphanage. They're going to look at the workers there and ask the workers, hey, you remember us? And they're going to say yes. Can we take the kids outside? It's going to be a beautiful day. If they feel safe going there, walking there, they're going to let Masha's two kids go with them. So they can actually see that as bad as you've got it, you don't have it as bad as these young kids. And I'm going to talk about orphanages in the show tonight, my plans. And writing Julia last night and her writing me back today, we kind of come up with an idea how we can really help these kids in orphanages find families. And I think you might find it entertaining. 326 today. Okay, Papa G, I got gas today. I had 10 cents a gallon off and I still spent $3.49 a gallon. But as I'm filling, well, no, I can't afford to fill my tank up. But as I'm putting my little bit of money in the gas tank, the gas, is flowing, I just happened to look up and diesel was $5.29. These are truckers that need this diesel fuel to go thousands of miles. How can they afford it? Oh, you know how they can afford it? They jack the prices up of everything else. The stores have to pay more to get it shipped to them. So who pays? It's not the stores paying more. It always comes out of our pocket. Now, how do we go to a world of heaven on earth if we're still getting screwed the way we're getting screwed? And we'll get on to that subject. So, Super Jimmy, how are you doing? Are you approaching and getting ready for spring? Are you going to go outside and play? Boy, I tell you, we had a day on the 10th, 70-some degrees early in the morning. I was outside in a pair of shorts and a tank top. That night, we had the worst weather in the world, and tornadoes, heavy winds, hell balls this big. People had their houses destroyed. Tornado went through a place in Kankakee, and a business that stood for 50 years is totally demolished. And it's a nursery, so they have all these trees out there. The buildings can be rebuilt, but the trees are no good. But what if they don't insure them trees? What if they do? I'm just going to sell them because they overprice them anyway. But they're good trees because 10 of them are in my backyard as my orchard. It was a devastating blow. But the community is coming together very nicely. And that's what matters. So, Jimmy, make sure you go outside. Patriot 11, I'm really hoping to hear from you soon, my man. It's getting nice. My goodness gracious. St. Pat's Day is tomorrow. I got to see if I can find my green shirt. If not, I'll just wear my patriotic red, white, and blue.
No.
No, you know what? I can do that because I got a patriotic green shirt for Christmas.
And he also got a green hat.
And I got a green hat that I can wear. And I'll do it. And people say, you look goofy. And I said, well, do you ever look in the mirror? What do you think about that, Patriot? What do I call you? Super Wrestler, Karate Kid, Patriot Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp, I'm going to tell you a story. And it's not about a man named Jed. I'm going to tell you a story about there's a show on TV. It's called A Rifleman. Chuck Connors. And everybody else thought they was fastest gun in the West with their guns. And I watched the show the other day. And the guy that went up against the rifleman, he was going to take him out because he's the fastest gun in the whole world. And it just happened to be played by Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy Davis Jr. is a part of a gunslinger. It just didn't fit. It never did, even when I was a kid. And he called him out. And he went to reach for his gun to draw first. And the old rifleman just picked up that gun and he had two inside of the old Sammy Davis Jr. before he even never got his gun. Fastest in the world and never got his gun out of the holster. 2 shots into him. And I'm not saying this because someone died, because this is just all make-believe, Hollywood TV shows. But whenever I mention you, and talk to you, young man, I think of the rifleman. I think of all the cowboys growing up. And see, I'm going to tell you right now. Hey, Robert, good to see you. How's it over yonder there, buddy? But anyway, when you see things, it's amazing. You kids today, Patriot Princess, our queen, Patriot Hunter, you might not even know what a cowboy is. Man, we was raised on Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Marshall Dillon is Gunsmoke. Wild Wild West, Ronnie, Wagon Train. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Yes, we was raised on that. And you know what the funny part is? Me and Ron still watch him every day. Ron will fall asleep to him at night. I'll say, you didn't watch this show? No. There was something better on. There was a cowboy. I tell you, a statement here, Patriot, Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. If my dad was still alive, he would be in heaven already. And that sounds weird. If he was still alive, he'd be in heaven because I know he's there now. But if he was still alive, he'd be in heaven because my dad could watch cowboys all the time. And now you can watch them all the time. You don't have to pay for them. You don't have to sit down at 8 o'clock on Saturday night or Sunday night and watch Bonanza. You don't have to sit there with your brother and your sister, your brothers and your sisters, your mom and your dad. And when little Joe and Haas, when Adam and Ben come riding up together, all 4 of them, we had a little game. We'd put a nickel in the pot, and whoever guessed who was going to be the first one showed. Because once you got the first one right, you knew you had the rest of them right. But whoever got it right, they won the pot. And we used to think that was great we could win. We could put a nickel in and we could win a quarter. But I tell you, kids, how much advantage you got now? Because I remember having to borrow the nickel just to play. Actually, I didn't get to play at first because I didn't have no nickels. But if my mom and dad won, I always was the winner. You guys will never experience that, or will you? When Hollywood comes back after it's taken down, will it come back in a great thing? What do you think, little Leona and little Elon? You might get to watch cowboys, you 2 sweet little girls. I got a message from Grandpa the other day, little Leona, and he said, this is you doing something at your birthday party, I believe it was. This is you doing something at your birthday party. But the thing of it is, he forgot to send the picture. But I just closed my eyes and I imagined what you was doing. I bet you're a handful now. Yes, I do. Patriots 17. Patriot little cutie pie. Our 2 kids from the Ukraine. I know that you're looking forward to going with Aunt Julia and Mom tomorrow. I know you're looking forward to it.
No,
You
I'm
know.
looking forward to eating American food.
What's that?
I'm looking forward to eating American
And I know what you're looking forward to is to come here and eat hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries, to eat American food. But we can't tell Grandma, Lady Victoria, we can't tell her, because if we tell her, she might get upset, because from what I understand, she's a great cook. So our secrets will all be together. Patriot Super Gymnast. I thought you were stopping by yesterday. I still got your birthday present. Still got to order your other one. I'll get that done tonight or tomorrow morning. It'll be here middle of the week. What you did to me the other day, you played your cards. You could have been in one of those Cowboys and been one of them card sharks. Let me tell you what she did on her the day after her birthday. On Wednesday, I had to babysit them. They had a half a day. But I had to go in to Dollar General to pick up some dog treats because I hadn't seen their 2 little dogs for a while. So I knew they weren't getting the dog treats like they do. When the minute I walk in, these dogs don't run to jump all over me. They run to the cabinet where they know the treats are sitting, because they know Grandpa will get them some treats. So I had to go in there and get them. I said, guys, it's cold, it's rainy. I want to get to the house. We had just went out and had cheeseburgers and fries. I want to get to the house. Liam was so cold. Patriot 7 was so cold. He said, I'm sitting in the car, Papa, just let it run. So I did. I kept my eye on it because I didn't feel comfortable. We get in there and Patriot Super Gymnast says, can I go look at the toy section with Patriot Small Gymnast? Used to be Patriot Monkey. Can I go over there and look? I said, sure, I'm going to go get the dog treats and I'll meet you. I went and got him, and she picked up this slime, root beer slime, and she says, can I get this? And she's got it sitting right in the front of a sign that says $3. I had the dog treats and that. I go up. I said, sure, get it. But you can't tell. And Addison, Patriot Small Gymnast, she says, I won't tell Grandpa. You can tell him you give it to her for her birthday. So I get it for her. And they ring the bill up, and I hand the lady the money. And she goes, Ralph, you still need $1 and a nickel. It's $11.05. And I handed her a 10. I said, what do you mean? $3 for the slime? And this and this, it's under $10. She said, Ralph, this slime is $6. Well played, Super Gymnast. You put it to make it look like it was $3. You got one on your grandpa, your papa. Patriot Small Hank, I was teasing him today. He was going through his forms, his walk through his kicks and everything, practicing for his event coming up. He was going through all of that. And I come up and I went like, ooh, give him a little kung fu of my own. He said, stop, Grandpa Hank. That wasn't right. You shouldn't have did that. I'm practicing. And I said, you can go back and practice when I leave to go down to Uncle Ron's and do my show. But right now, I'm going to tease you. And I said, if you don't want me to tease you, don't smile. I have a thing with all of my grandkids. None of them can look at me and not smile when I say that. It's automatic, like, whoop, we're smiling. Any of you guys do that with your grandkids? Hey, Diane, 5901. Happy Friday. Good to see you here. Man, Robert Ford is talking up a storm. Way to go, Robert. Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke is half brother with Peter Graves. Yes, he is. And you know what? If I'm not mistaken, Matt Dillon and Peter Graves are in their graves. I shouldn't have said that, but you know, we're here to have fun. Patriot little Kira. I was laying down before the show tonight, and I got up, had Dasher, and was getting ready to walk out the door, and when I went out to start messing around with Patriot Small Hank, she's got her nose in the corner. I said, what are you doing in the corner? She wouldn't answer. I said, hey, I'm talking to you. What are you doing in the corner? She turns around with me and with the prettiest little eyes, she goes, I was a bad girl. And I said, they're punishing you? And she said, yeah. I said, who's punishing you? And she said, my mom. And I said, your mom punishing you because you was a bad girl? And she said, yeah. I walked over to the other corner and I moved something that was there. And I looked at her mom and I said, get in the corner. She said, what? I said, get in the corner. If you're going to punish her for being bad, you've been really bad the last 2 or 3 days. So get in the corner. Small Hank and Kira, they started laughing like crazy. I got out of there because I knew she was going to yell. To say I stick up for my grandchildren is an understatement. To say I make them aggravated is an understatement. But it is what it is. And I'm with my grandkids like that song we play. I'll stick up with them and fight for them until the very end. I'll take the blame for something to keep them from getting in trouble. Right, Karen? You do the same thing, right? Hey, CA1001, hi. So that concludes tonight's version of the children's part. Please remember, kids, that this video is not made for you. You can watch it with permission of your parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. The music we played tonight, Proud to be an American, because yes, I don't have to know I'm free. I know I don't have to think I'm free. I know I'm free. And soon we will restore this country to the greatest country in the world. I believe it still is. But we had such crap preceding the hat. We had such terrible people who could care less about you, CA, or you, Jeffrey, or you, Janet, or myself, or Ron. They could care less about any of us. All it was about, like that show said, show me the money. Show me the money. And when it comes out what that one guy did, that one guy that's married to that guy, you know what I mean? I think Mike is his name. When it comes out what he did, how he literally sent billions and billions of dollars to countries so he could get it. Can I ask someone a question? Would you guys answer this question? Why does people need billions and billions and billions of dollars? Is there really any reason? Janet, would you be comfortable just with some millions? What about you, Larry? Bill Woods? As Ron said, we'd be comfortable with a couple hundred. It was like, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And it's like that. They were children in men's and women's bodies. Now, the first lady was a child in a man's body, from what I hear. And I don't even know if she was a first lady. If you get my drift. But I want to talk about something else real quick, guys, before I really get into the show, and that's TikTok. I did a video a while back on TikTok, and they gave me a thumbs down and punished me. If I got 2 more of those punishments, they was kicking my completely site down because I couldn't do that. And you know why I couldn't do it? Because I was doing a video, and it was about, what if Elvis is still alive? What if Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and them was still alive? What if, and I did like 20 what ifs. There was nothing wrong. What if this person is gone? What if this person, what if people are wearing masks? That's all I said in this what if. And I said every what if about is for me only. This is not anybody else's opinion. I'm just asking the question, what if? And they shot me down. But then I go there. And you guys want to, if you belong to TikTok, go in there. And if you want to be friends with Carrie Underwood, if you want to be friends with that tall girl that's dating Travis Kelce, or maybe the girl, Cody DePablo. Cody DePablo, I looked the other day, I Googled her there. She has over 70 sites there. Now, I can't say what if, but what if TikTok would make you verify and prove you are who you say you are? There's this lady on there. Cody DePablo is on there. They do videos with her daughter. Her daughter from NCIS. It is a fictitious character. But they've got her as a 13-year-old now. And she's cute. And she's amazing. And she's smart. And I Googled her. And it says she's a fictitious character. But there is rumors that she may have had an actual daughter and named that daughter that. There's rumors. Now, you might go and Google it today and it might say, yes, she's alive. But what kind of people will go out and imitate somebody so they can scam you? Because I tried once with Cody DePablo to be friends because I love the show. And I just wanted to ask her how she liked it, why she left it. I didn't want anything else. And all of a sudden, the first time I chat with her, who are you? How old are you? And where do you live? And I told her. What do you do for a living? I told her I was retired. Well, you know who I am? I said, yeah. I said, I know you're worth at this point about $100 million. And she said, well, it's just money. Less than 3 minutes later, she tells me, I have a credit card debt. And if I don't pay it, they're going to put me in jail. Could you pay my $6,000 credit card off? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, there's another one out there. Emma Watson. Emma Watson, one of the richest women in the world. There's about 100 of them. And they're so good that they can, if you want to, hey, prove me you're Emma Watson. And they'll play you a little song, a little tip, they'll do a video. And as they're talking, and they're very, very good at it, you hear their voice. Because Emma Watson has a distinctive voice. She's got that, I can't think what it's called, accent. But I'm just telling you guys, be careful. Myself personally, I wish I'd have never joined TikTok because not that I don't like it. I like watching some of their videos. But one of the videos that they got on there, and here's another thing. You're not supposed to lie in your video. But there's these girls are beautiful. And if this offends you, Bill Woods, if this offends you, Janet, if this offends you, Karen, you might want to scroll by. But if you like the hat, you've got a friend for life. So you follow me and I'll follow you. And they're cute. And I thought, what the heck? They're Patriots. Maybe I'll get them in our group and we'll see what happens. And I don't think nothing. I hit the follow button. Then I go to their page and they'll have 3,795 followers. How many are you following? 0. You're supposed to tell the truth. Why don't they have the truth? Why? But and then you got Facebook. You got Facebook there. How many of you have been in Facebook jail? Bill, of you, Janet, Larry, Robert, Karen. I mean, Facebook jail. I used to think I had the keys to get out because I needed them so much. I don't go there much either.
Mine was mostly Messenger.
Ron's on Messenger, and he tries to just send people information. Well, you're sending too many, so you're blocked. But yet these people that go out and lie and cheat and do all these things to people, try to scam them, that's okay. But then again, why is the hat not putting a stop to this? If he has to close down every social media site, which is what we're hearing, how many of them is going to come back? When they come back, is there going to be a good set of rules and regulations? I sure hope so, because I'm looking forward to going to heaven on earth. Now, what do you think? Hold on a second. Where are we at? Well, let me get to where it tells us a little bit. TNT Tony said today from Carpathia, 9:40 p.m. Bruce. Oh, this is Bruce. I'm sorry. I thought I had TNT Tony, but I'm doing Bruce first.
Ginger did.
Okay. Well, I'm at Bruce. I'm going to go do him first. Soudani has been placed as head of government in Iraq. We believe we are in day 10 of Iran conflict, taking out 50 ships from Iran, their air support, their mobile missiles, launchers, and Kurds are helping. Redemption screens. Oh, this is the other night. I read this one the other night. Oh, that's what I messed up. I thought it was where Ron sent it to me. This was from Diane on the 10th. I knew I had read that, so bear with me. We will get to TNT Tony first. From Ginger Doucette. There are groups in Iran making agreements, and we'll hear more over the weekend. They're going to be a land incursion, and everyone wants to be involved in that to secure their place of land. Now that the hard work is done, Tony says it's far from over, says the Khamenei, Khameni, did not write the statement. Tony sources say Netanyahu is still alive. I like Tony, but I don't believe what he just said. But that's hearsay. The dinar was supposed to go every night. I think he meant overnight. It didn't go last night because 4 countries had issues: Switzerland, England, France, and the U.S. Everyone else returned the ping. There was more paperwork to be signed, so we can go Saturday or Sunday. Everyone, banks, parentheses, is working over the weekend. Tony has just heard the paperwork is signed and will be processed in the morning. They will look to start sometime tomorrow through Sunday morning with appointments starting right away. The issue was in Iraq with the militia. They should have that under control tonight. Goes on to say that stick with him. He'll have an update ASAP. Mark's Morning Live on Friday. Did you guys realize it was Friday the 13th again? If I remember right, wasn't Friday the 13th also in February? Someone got a calendar? Because for some reason, I thought we've had 2 Friday the 13th this year. Mark's Morning News. Nothing solid on bond side. So if you come out and you're going to talk about the revaluation of currency, if you come out and there's nothing solid on the bond side, why do you talk about anything else? Show's over. There's nothing solid on the bond side. Nobody goes until the bonds are done. But they got to keep the show going. As the saying says, the show must go on so they can fill their pockets. At this point, so many have brought more historic assets to the table. I think you'll get all the answers you'll need and more answers than you want, positive or negative, this week. On bonds, I think we are hitting the breaking point going into the weekend and early next week on the front. I am getting lots of confirmation of more meetings and money this week, but it is just more confirmation on the same news. Now we just got to see it. I have reports of people turning down very large offers this week, cash at table, $1 per dinar. And people turning it down because they believe they will see more in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Sue's big call. $3/12/2026. Contacted by very high sources Saturday and Sunday night. We go to a tradable form of gold asset-backed currency on Sunday night. The notifications are already loaded and will begin to be released. In parentheses, this is coming from a high-level military source. Released and loaded for Sunday night and Monday morning. We are expecting that on Monday or Tuesday, we should be getting our notifications to begin exchanges. On Tuesday or Wednesday, our number guy told us how come they do not know the Iran war is over. When you see the news, you think it's not over, but yet we are told our notifications come out Tuesday or Wednesday. Yet the hat says we are ahead of schedule. We were also told that Social Security should be increased the same amount. Other words, you should get double portions starting on the 21st. Not sure about those who receive Social Security earlier in the month. Now, I want to stop for a minute. They're not sure if the people like Ron, myself, and anybody who's already received their Social Security, but it's supposed to start on the 21st. Well, why would you start it on the 21st? Because the only one you're going to pay then would be the ones that of the last month of the year, because before the 20th, today is the 13th, which meant yesterday was the 12th. So the next Wednesday when people will be paid is the 19th. So on the 26th is the only people's going to get paid. Where is this when we all go? When one goes, we all go. There's some people out there, guys, I'm telling you, they would sell their mother if they could do a show just to make a nickel or a dime, just to come up with stuff. I'm telling you, the things that this woman said last night makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to beg you, don't listen to her. But I'm still going to read it because some people like it. And now I got to start my phone. If I don't stay online long enough, it goes. Okay. If you are married and they also say if you were married and going to the redemption center, you must take your spouse. I really believe this is BS. And I had a very good talk with a friend of mine. What is one thing we're always told about going to the redemption center? We're going to go under an NDA. We got to keep our mouth shut. We can't let it out. Well, I was talking to a special person last night, and they said their husband / wife, whichever, because I don't want to give up who I was talking to, knows nothing about the foreign currency. That person bought all of it, and the other half of the marriage didn't want nothing to do with it. Said something about family, being very greedy, and that they find out through him that they've come into a large amount of money. They'll be there begging and pleading and getting whatever they can get. Since this person is the one that bought all the currency, since this person has been trained for months, years, that she's going to have to go under an NDA, some of these people won't even know what an NDA is. But why would you risk making the other one go? It's the person who's bought its currency. In my case, myself and Ron and my brother Russ, we bought the currency together. They've elected me to go. They know that I'll treat them fairly. But this is another thing this woman said that I think she made up, and I can't prove it. But we have been taught for so many years, no, when you go to the redemption center, when you get there, you got to be cool. How do you be cool if this man is sitting in the redemption center with his wife and he's asking all kinds of questions to people in the redemption center? How do you get in and out in 25, 35, or 45 minutes when a guy's asking 100 million questions? So I don't think that was true, but we'll see. If you are married and one person dies, what do you do about the account? If you are going in as a married couple, you get one QFS account. If one spouse passes, you will have an attorney to figure out distribution. After exchanges, you can get an attorney to modify how funds are distributed through the QFS. Now, as I read this, something I hadn't thought about, but as I read this, if you're a married couple, Janet, David, Susie Q, Larry, but if you're a married couple, I don't really see where they're saying you have to go in as a couple, but you only get one quantum count. Okay. Because like they said, then you can get attorneys and you can put what you deserve and what they deserve. And then you can get a nice will made up that if something happens, in my case, there's just me. If something happens to me, everything's going to go to my kids and my grandkids. I won't need to leave none for my two brothers. I'll set my sister up very nicely so she won't have to worry, but they'll all go to that. But then again, people's got to know these beds are going to keep us from doing anything like this. These beds are going to make us all healthy. What?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you'd give me an amen.
No.
Amen, brother. Restored Republic via the GCR March 13, 2026. According to Judy Biden's report, the new quantum financial system, QFS, is now live, marking the beginning of a new era of financial freedom for the individuals and nations alike. The Global Currency Reset, GCR, a long-awaited event, has been triggered, and the implications are far-reaching. The GCR, which was initiated by President the Hat on March 1st, 2026, has reset the currencies of 209 sovereign nations, freeing them from the shackles of the old fiat system. The BRICS alliance, comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, had been planning this move since the Federal Reserve bankruptcy in 2008. The new QFS is a decentralized gold/asset-backed system that is designed to give power back to the people. This transition to the new system has been without its challenges. The old fiat U.S. Federal Reserve dollar, which had lost its value and was no longer backed by any asset, has caused chaos around the globe. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, had been trying to cover up the fact, but the truth is now out. The good news is that the country's moving away from the fiat US dollar, with Saudi Arabia being the latest to do so. The D blank 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 E C blank blank blank, which had controlled the financial system for centuries, is now facing its downfall. The transfers of the Federal Reserve to the new U.S. Treasury, no longer under control of the C blank blank bank, has marked a significant shift in power. The exposure of $5.5 trillion banking scam has further weakened the C blank blank blank. Oh, C blank 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 L. I kept thinking they're not spelling it right, but I didn't see the L, so now I did. As the old system collapses, it is essential for individuals to take action to protect their financial assets. It is advised to withdraw cash from banks and convert it into gold, silver, or cryptocurrencies like XRP, XLM, XDC, which are the basis for the new QFS. Those who have not been able to access their bank accounts should not worry, as their bank accounts balances have already been mirrored onto the new system. The Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, is expected to be activated soon, marking the beginning of a new era of transparency and disclosure. The markets will close and a period of disclosure will follow. After Tier 4B, the Internet Group will receive a message to set an appointment, exchange/redemption appointments. The GCR has been E blank, 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 D in tiers. The tier 1 governments being the first to be paid out. Tier 4B, the internet group, has now entered the final liquidity cycle, and notifications are being rolled out. High value transfers are clearing through the QFS, triggering full liquidity release across multiple tiers. The next 6 to 12 hours are expected to be crucial. D blank, 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 E, interference collapsing, and every move being down instantly. So, not what we wanted, not what we expected. But I got a letter from Julia yesterday. And in the letter, she said, Ralph, I'm smothering. And I want to tell you this story, guys. I'm smothering. Every day I walk to work, the same cracks in the sidewalk, the same traffic going up and down the road, the same cold. I get to work, and she's a lady who her work is, she talks with children when they're having trouble. They come into her office. She goes into her little office, sits at her little table, and then all of a sudden a child will come in. A child that don't even know her name. They just call her Miss. Not Miss Julia, not Miss Savkiv, just Miss. And she told me this story, and to me, this is sad, because when I talk to the children, what would you do this weekend? Are you going to go outside and play, or are you going to play with your computers? Are you just going to stay inside and say, I don't care what it's like outside? This little boy comes in. I think his name was Amir. Amar, A-M-A-R. He comes in and he says, hi, miss. She says, what is your problem? He takes a piece of paper out. And on his piece of paper, he had tried to make a boat. And Miss Julia looked and said, oh, you made a boat? He said, yeah. What are you going to do with it? He says, when this war ends and we can be kids, I'm going to take this boat to the sea and I'm going to go bring my daddy home. 7 years old. So she said, well, let's make it more safe. And he said, okay. So she writes in it. And she says, do you know what it says? And he said, yes. He says, I love you, Daddy. I'm going to bring you home. Needless to say, as soon as he walked out the door, she couldn't hold the tears back. She cried. And I'm going to tell you, when I read this, I had tears in my eyes. I know they say a man's not supposed to cry, but as the other song says, I'm not too proud. You know, can you imagine this little boy doing it? But when he left, she said, you forgot your boat. He says, I know. But he says, if I take it home, my brothers might ruin it. So can I leave it here in your desk, in your office? So when we actually end the war, I can come get it and go get my daddy. He walked over and gave her a kiss, a hug. And she said, she hugs kids all the time. That's part of her job. She said, but she never wanted to let go of this little boy. That's what kids around other countries are going through. When I hear somebody from the United States of America say, if the hat is still the president, I'm leaving. Oh, I can't get them out of there fast enough. Call an Uber. Call an Uber and send me to the bill. Just make sure you get on the jet and never come back. And go try to do the things in other countries that you're doing here in the greatest country in the world. Dear Lord, as we come to the end of tonight's show, we ask you to put angels on everybody's shoulders. And right now, Lord, we're asking you to really look after our friend, our family member, Michael. Michael is going through some rough times. And Lord, when they said the special beds are ready, why isn't Michael on them? They say it's the people who's in need of them most. Well, he's one of them, Lord. So maybe you could get in touch, by a little message, a little sign, and get this man on the bed. There's so many people that need these, Lord, not just so they can live long, long lives, but so they can be pain-free. I talked to a person the other day, Lord, and they said, I don't care how much money I get. I want to have my health. Because what does it matter if we become multi-trillionaires and we die in 2 years because we're in so much pain? And Lord, we're asking you, you've chosen us. You've chosen this group of people here and groups all over the world to turn your world into the greatest world ever, into heaven on earth. So we're asking you to allow it to happen. Let the things happen it's supposed to. Let this movie end. And please take care of the children and the people that really need these special beds. As we come to you on this Friday night, on the Friday night finale, and pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. Ron and myself love you, and we'll see you. If not before, we'll see you Monday night.
Good St. Patrick's Day.
Have a great St. Patrick's Day and a great weekend, and stay safe.